Welcome guys, Darren here with a box review of 1992 Fleer football. What I was really curious about with 92 Fleer football was the inserts, because the inserts are really nice. But also, when I originally collected 92 Fleer in 1992, I did it out of habit. I collected 1991 Fleer, so I collected 92, and this was about the time I discovered that there was a 1990 Fleer. I hadn't realized that there was one, but this is about that time. And the cards, for me, they were just kind of serviceable. These were cards that never grabbed my attention because I was so used to much more impressive cards. So as I was doing the 1992 card rankings, I discovered that these cards were a lot better than I realized, and so I needed to kind of revisit them. And it really did surprise me because the white borders, the quality of centering, that stuff's not great. The back is definitely not great. It's just it's not great. But what I didn't realize is that the pictures tended to be really well selected, and the bottom design is a lot stronger than I would normally give credit for. So this was a surprise to me, something to discover. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what the inserts were like, but even though I have all the sets, but I really wanted to know what the experience was like. And so opening up these packs, I found that it was a lot of fun. The design of the cards, the key is that the logo down here just reads extremely well, and that's what makes the whole card work. It's really cool because if you get one element that has a great feel to it and it's a strong element, it will elevate the whole experience. But I mean, look at these images. The images in this card set are really impressive, and that's not something I ever really thought about with Fleer. But going through these cards, I was realizing that that's exactly what was going on with Fleer. Fleer was truly nailing the overall of the card, where the whole design is lackluster, but they got a nice little element and they got a good image, and that's all that you need. For these cards, they don't need to be super flashy, and they pulled it off. So that was the big surprise when I went into this experience. Was I was curious, and I had so much fun with it. Now, getting down to brass tacks, I got one complete set, and I got no triples. So when I studied the pattern, because with a lot of these releases, there's a pattern to the cards, and I've started to really pay attention to it. And like with Upper Deck, you can get a 1992 Upper Deck box, and all the cards pack by pack in each column, they all line up numerically. In this case, they're more grouped around, and you can find the patterns and group them together and find the order that the cards were basically grouped together and sorted into packs. So I've been having fun with that, and there was that in this release. So that's why I didn't have any triples, was because there was such an order to it that it's pretty reliable. So that means that in all likelihood, you're probably going to end up with a complete set if you get one box. That doesn't mean that the centering is going to be spectacular. A lot of these cards came out with really good centering, but a whole lot of them did not as well. So it was essentially the quality issue of the card manufacturing is good enough, but it's not spectacular. So getting a set, what I was starting to get into was I wanted to get all the centered cards. So you get, let's see, Scott Case, here we go. So I got one centered Scott Case and one not well centered Scott Case, and ironically, I was surprised how many cards came out really well and had a terrible double. That was fun. So the set is a lot better centered than the doubles imply, because the doubles really do have some pretty off cards in there. So I was pleased by how close I was able to get to a centered set. But yeah, one complete set was nice to get out of the way. And then with doubles, I got not too many star players, but there weren't too many star players in 1992, period. So I got an extra Thurman Thomas, Emmitt Smith, John Elway, and Barry Sanders, along with an Edgar Bennett rookie card, and then Provision of Warren Moon, one of Emmitt Smith, and one of Thurman Thomas. So those were the big doubles that I got, and I'll show you a few other stars in the set in a minute. But the inserts, that was Fleer's big thing, and so they had two sets, one being the Mark Rypien Performance Highlights cards, and this is 10 cards as I recall, with an additional 2 from a wrapper exchange. And so the cards are, it's Mark Rypien, but overall the cards do have a great look to it. And if it was another player, this would be a lot more of an exciting card set. He had won the Super Bowl and gotten MVP in the Super Bowl and suddenly showed up on the map, and then he disappeared in no time. And it was only like 2 or 3 years later he was on the Browns, and not that anybody knew. Weird little burst onto the scene of Mark Rypien. But the great inserts are the All-Pro cards. These are among the great inserts really of all time. The way that the look of the cards is just spectacular. The deep, rich blue with a slight purple hue to it, the gold foil on it. And I got Jim Lachey, I got Michael Irvin, Andre Rison, Darrell Green, and I got Mark Carrier. So those are the players that I got. And the centering on these is pretty lousy. None of the card backs are really solid. I think that Andre Rison has the best centering, and you can see how iffy that is. I didn't really notice there was a pattern of 5, 6, and 7 that showed up here, but then the other two, 20 and 23, were not lined up. So I don't know if there's some order to how these show up in packs, but I did get 5 All-Pros and 3 Mark Rypien cards. Not that these are worth anything at all, which is a shame because these cards are absolutely gorgeous. But I'm so glad that opening up a box gave me a grand total of 8 gorgeous inserts, and that means it's almost 1 out of every 4 packs. I was pulling one of these out, which was so awesome. I really love that. So I mentioned that I'd show a couple of the other cards. So let's see. I don't think not 92. Favre wasn't in here yet. It was still Magic Man, and yeah, but we got. Let's see. We have Dan Marino is going to be in here, which is, where are you, Dan? Is he not? It's weird how often stars didn't show up in 92 card sets. And so, yeah, okay, so Dan Marino is not in this card set, which is it kind of gives you a feel for how ridiculous 92 was. I mean, it really was a strange year where Jerry Rice had excuse me, I think Jerry Rice only had like 3 cards in the whole year. It was very surprising. So with the Niners, we have who? John Taylor and Steve Young. So Steve Young is he is the other star because there's no Dan Marino, no Joe Montana. 92 wasn't a big year for Joe because Steve had taken over starting. I think that was how it worked. So yeah, I got Steve Young. And then in terms of rookies, there's Edgar Bennett, and that's the only rookie of note. Now, at the end of the set, you do have these really terrible prospects cards, which are rookie cards. Then you have league leader cards, and so Thurman Thomas, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, Barry Sanders has a league leaders card. So this is a spurt of really good players that show up through here. Steve Young is in there, and then you have the Provisions, and so John Elway, He wasn't. Yeah, I didn't show him in the. He wasn't one of the doubles. So you got Art Monk, gorgeous card. Warren Moon, Emmett Smith. You already saw this. Thurman Thomas, and then the checklists are actually kind of cool. And that's what is composed of the set. So one of the reasons people don't really care about 92 Fleer football is that it's missing some of the star players. So it's a little bit lackluster in terms of who shows up in the card set. And then of course the rookies for this year were it was not a great rookie year. And Edgar Bennett, Carl Pickens, and Jimmy Smith are the big rookies. Also, was it Brad? Yeah, I think Brad Johnson was the other rookie. So not a lot to work with. And in this set, they only had the Edgar Bennett card. They didn't even have any of the others. So long story short, and I have been talking quite a bit about 92 Fleer football, which is odd. I got a complete set. I got no triples. I got almost all of the star players in doubles. Barry Sanders, Emmett Smith, and John Elway all grouped together, and the Edgar Bennett rookie card. So if Steve Young, I think, is the only other one. Yeah, Steve Young's the only one I'm missing for star players. But the rookies, again, I love the fact that that I pulled a rookie out of almost one out of every 4 packs. That was great, and they look gorgeous. That's really the most fun about it. But these cards are great. Going through each one of these cards, they really do look good. So yeah, I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed the box. So yeah, I guess that's what I got to say. So thank you guys for watching.